Hello everyone and welcome back to the arena. I'm still Miss and I'm still with Bass. So welcome. This is Waffles in red versus the Ancients in blue. Bass, can you tell me a little bit about these setups?
I certainly can. So this Waffles comp, I actually really like the look of it. They've got a Balgorn, they've got two Eoses and Oneros, three Confesses and three Vexels. And I think actually this is a comp that Fraternity flew in the feeder tournament to great effect. I really like the look of it. They've got very extensive low end with the Newt Vexels and the three Confessors. On the other side of plagiarism is the Ancients, who are flying this Typhoon Fleet issue comp, which looks a lot like a literally triggered comp with the Guardian and the Nurgle, and of course the Stabber Fleet issues, which were for a while undefeated but are now no longer invincible.
Yeah, we saw that the Waffles team warped in a staggered ranges while the Ancients were all at 50, and the Waffles are pulling back while the Ancients are like spreading out and going in. These Stabber Fleet issues, I think it's a bit of an interesting choice of ships, but they are fast cruisers. They can pack a nice punch and can fit a decent armor tank. We also see Kiaktra taking a bit of damage. He's the primary, and he's probably also the one that's in front. He's slowly turning around, and he's having this swarm of drones on him.
Yeah, so it's going to be really important for this Balgorn on the Waffle side to try and screen some of these things off. I think the Ancients are trying to rush in here, trying to apply these damage from these Stabber Fleet issues, which, as you said, they're pretty decent. They are, in fact, capable of fielding 4 medium rep bots, which is a pretty decent advantage in the tournament setting. And yeah, they're fast. They do a reasonable amount of damage. They're pretty cheap. Yeah, I quite like them. But yeah, this Oneros of Sarah Baines is taking chunks now. Clearly, the Stabber Fleet issues have managed to get through this defensive line, and they are on top of this Oneros. And he is dying.
I mean, it looks like the Oneos is free, but
Oh no, he's got away. I was looking at the wrong cruiser. My bad. My apologies.
Yeah, but he's still taking damage.
And there's a swarm of BC drones on him as well, so that could cause difficulties for him. You know, if he's out the fight and he's alive, but he's not able to rep anything, that's, you know, you might as well be dead. So this could come down to how effective those EC drones are on him.
In the meantime, the Ancients might lose their first Stabber Fleet issue. Also have a Heretic taking damage, and the other Stabber Fleet issue take damage. Looks like some of the drones on the Oneos are retreating. I think the Oneos might have recovered from this, but it's still looking a bit tight, as one of the Stabber Fleet issues is turning to cut him off. Like he's having to turn because of the boundary.
Yeah, the two Typhoon Fleet issues seem to be chasing as well, although of course the Oneros is going to be pretty fast, but he's skirting right along the edge of the arena, as you say.
But the Waffles Balgon is on the Guardian. It's getting muted, it's getting webbed. This is the end for the Guardian. This is not what you want.
Yeah, the Newt cycles of that Balgorn are going to absolutely drain his cap. He's not going to be able to do anything. There's so many drones on him as well. And this is a really interesting take on the drone comp that we're seeing here from Waffles. Usually drone comps, you expect to see them kite around, try and stay away from damage, but these guys are not afraid to brawl. They've got these Vexels with Newts. They've got Confessors to get on top of stuff. They've got Eoses and a Balgorn. Of course, all Newts as well. So they've got a lot of control in this setup here.
Yeah, so the Ancients swapped to two of the Confessors on the Waffles team, and one of them just went down, and the second one might go down as well, unless he can catch reps. But at the time they're bleeding their own ships. One Heretic down, next Heretic in structure, and the Stabber Fleet issues are also going down. There's no one to repair them anymore, so at this point they can't really stay that long in the brawl.
Yeah, and the Oneros has managed to skirt around the edge of the arena and get back into the action here. He's actually managing to land some reps here, I think. Oh, no, not quite. I think he might be jammed by the EC drones, but he is still surviving as well. And this Stabber Fleet issue of Silas is just chasing him around, but he's not really getting much done, to be honest. The Oneros is just running away from him, not being caught. And the Typhoon Fleet issues tried to chase him as well, but they were also unable to catch him here. Meanwhile, in the backline, the Guardian's dying, and there's you know, their backline's just getting obliterated here.
Yeah, both Nurgle and Stabber Fleet issues on the Oneos. I think at this point the Oneos will not survive, since this Nurgle can just spin up and kill him. So Oneos is going down, but I think the Oneos has served the purpose. Like not a Stabber Fleet issue down as well. At this point, like the Waffles just are in the lead. They still have the main core remaining.
Yeah, I think it's too little too late eventually. Getting that Nurgle on the Oneros, if they'd done that maybe a minute sooner, that Oneros would have been caught. He'd have been volleyed out of the field by the Typhoon Fleet issues, caught by the Stabber Fleet, and the Nurgle can move on again to something else. But I think it's just a little bit too late there on catching that. Oneros, as their Guardian, is already down. I mean, a couple of minutes prior to that, he died to the Balgorn Newts. So yeah, it's a little bit more decisiveness needed in getting control of that Oneros, because he was really running away with it.
So one big advantage of the Typhoon fleet issues and the Stellar fleet issues is that they don't need to use capacitor for their guns, and this does like take a bit away of the Balgon's power. But the Balgon still offers strong, long-range weapon fires, and the neutralizers can still cap out that tank. And we've seen that Typhoon fleet issue is trying to repair, but I think it's going down really soon. Maybe even before, probably not before the Vexor.
No, that Vexor does go down, but yeah, this Typhoon fleet issue is really starting to struggle here. Obviously, no reps left on the field with the Guardian dying previously, so he's entering into a very, very low hull here. He is, in fact, going to explode. And yeah, it's looking pretty good for Waffles at this point. They're feeling pretty comfortable. I'm surprised at the split damage from both teams here. So many ships on the field here for this whole match had chunks of damage in armor, and there was no reps coming. The Guardian was neutered out. The Oneros was in no man's land, and neither team was focusing. Neither team was really choosing one target and sticking on it. They were both spreading damage all over the place. So
Well,
it's a little bit of a mess.
in situations like this, when things are getting screened off, sometimes you can't just only shoot the thing that is screening you. Like ships like Stafford Fleet issues don't have long range, and the Vexors, if they have guns, they can also only shoot the thing screening them.
Yeah, that is true. I
So
mean,
that
there's
might be the
confessors
case,
as well.
yeah.
Confessors as well, assuming they're pulse confessors. Everything's just sort of stuck in its own little pseudo 1v1 bubble.
Yeah, so even if you don't shoot the primary, you're still shooting something, and you're forcing the enemy logistics to consider repping that target. Otherwise, it's going to die.
Yeah, so with that, this Nurgle now is chosen to be the primary. He is next up for the chopping block. Jackson Voa's in the Nurgle. He is not long for this world with the combined might of these two EOSs on top of him, and he goes down. So yeah, Waffles are just going to slowly wrap this up now. But it was a pretty good fight. It was pretty close for a significant portion of it. Both teams opting to bring that Tech 2 cruiser logi, and both logis suffering, although for entirely different reasons. One of them struggling with the newt pressure from the Balgon, and the other being chased around by a Stabber fleet issue. So it was a sort of a 9v9, I suppose, for much of this match. But then that Stabber fleet issue was also effectively taking himself out of the battle as well.
This was really good piloting by the Balgon of Claire Baudelaire. Seeing this opportunity and getting on top of that logi, like, this is really strong points of the Balgon. I didn't see if any of the smaller ships had the initial tackle on the Oneros, Guardian, but still having the long range weaponifiers does make it easier to catch something. Also, a shout out to XVII, one of my long time friends in EVE. We used to be in the same corp back when CCP Rise was Kill 2. And a really good player, and lovely to see my old friend still kicking ass in this tournament. So shout out to Sis too.
Yeah, picking up the win as well. What's not to like? Yeah, this final Typhoon fleet issue is slowly being whittled down now that all these drones are on top of him. And yeah, this is a great showing from Waffles. Both teams put up a competent fight, but yeah, Waffles coming away with the win. But yeah, I mean, this comp, like I said, we saw it before, I think, in the feeders with Fraternity fielding it, and it looked exceptionally powerful. And then Fraternity losing earlier with their 3 Mala comp, I think it was. Perhaps they should have come back to this. I don't know if the bans would have allowed that. But
one quick question: do you prefer waffles or pancakes?
I prefer pancakes. When I was a child, my father kept buying these like waffles from Lidl, and I ate a bunch of them, and now the smell or sight of waffles simply makes me feel sick. I've had too many. I've been overexposed to waffles. And it's a pancake tournament, right? It's Bargas time, so...
Yeah, and the last Typhoon just went down, and this is the last match that I'm going to commentate today, and see you all tomorrow instead. So back to the studio.